Here is my take on the 2020 election, and this is the entirety of my take on the 2020 election in the United States. I think Bernie Sanders is the best candidate for the Democratic primaries, and he is also the best candidate for the presidency. And that is the beginning and the end of my opinion. And even though I'm not American, I get to have this opinion. Unless, of course, you are an American who has never had an opinion on anything in another country. In which case, you would, of course, be principled and have the right to say that I am not entitled to having an opinion or declaring an opinion on what goes on in another country's politics. Hey, file this under foreign interference if you want. But here's the thing that you need to understand. I'm not a news channel. I am not a current events channel. I do not like talking about current events. Very often there'll be developing situations where people will just spread around shit that they have heard, misinformation, this isn't like just a YouTuber problem. The news does this all of the time. And it requires you to be immersed in this quagmire of politics, discussing things with people on Twitter, the worst place on the internet. No one has ever drawn any useful information from Twitter. If you want that kind of coverage, I recommend watching Kyle Kulinski's Secular Talk or Shoe on Head's new project, Brainlet. Those are great channels if you want a progressive perspective on these things. But I am not going to do it. I know it brings in a lot of views, but frankly, I am depressed enough as it is. So now that we have still most of the video to go so I can monetize it, I'll just have to come up with things to say. Because this is literally all I had to say. Unless something massive occurs, I will not commentate on this election in videos. Oh, here's something that happened. You see these books here? The Harry Dresden files that I have? They all look the same. They're all of the same design. And now I thought I'd get the next book, Blood Rights. But it turns out at my local German Amazon around the corner, they don't have it in this design. And so I went to a different website that was recommended to me, and I tried getting the new version of the book, that is this version of the book, and it was advertised as being that, but it looks like this, and that's different, and that is not good. But no, circling back to the whole thing, right? It does make a lot of money for people to talk about election coverage. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that's something that you want to do, and that is something that you want to do, if that's something that you're interested in, somebody needs to do it. It's just not going to be me. I care about liking what I do just as much as I care about being able to live off it, which of course in the current YouTube ecosystem, always difficult, because if you do talk about politics and current events, you get demonetized and deprioritized because YouTube thinks the big news networks are more authoritative, because they just straight up lie all of the time. But you can't have someone who's named David Pakman say something about the news. Because what is he, Jewish? I mean, it's not like the whole deprioritization thing doesn't happen to me. YouTube does seem to be of the opinion that I'm a news and current events channel, which I am not. I experienced probably 50% of my views just broke in at the point at which YouTube said, hey, we're going to prioritize authoritative sources on things now. Which, for those channels that actually do talk about current events more than I do, it was like 70% sometimes. Which it just so happens 70% is how much my income broke in this month. Like my YouTube revenue, my Patreon is still, decreasing, but fine. But I've been told this is normal in January, because in January, it's just nobody gives a shit about YouTubers. I mean, YouTube doesn't give a shit about YouTubers. Obviously, people who watch YouTube, they do give a shit. But hey, we don't need to turn this into a ramble about how YouTube as a platform, it sucks either. Because frankly, that is a whole current events type of content in and of itself. There's plenty of channels where all they do is tell you how YouTube fucked up this time. And it also, it's a good way to get views because people who are on YouTube obviously will care a lot about what is on YouTube. And again, it is work that someone needs to do. Someone needs to keep track of these things. Someone needs to document them. Someone needs to tell people about them. It's just not going to be me. I do feel like a lot of YouTubers fall into the trap of just trying to chase views, which of course, views and success, they're great. They're great things because you can make a living off them. But at the same time, if you went into YouTube because it was something that you were passionate about, it was doing the kind of thing that you wanted to be doing, and then you just followed the money into a place where it's no longer fulfilling to you, and maybe you make a little bit more money, but even if you're at the top of YouTube, it's just anxiety all day because this platform is so utterly unpredictable. So at that point, like, why are you doing this aside from the money, right? It's no longer the thing that you enjoy doing, it's just chasing the numbers at this point, which I understand, right? When you have success, you want to keep that going. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but then at the same time, YouTube expects you to have passion for this thing where it's just being a slave to their unpredictable algorithm as if it were the thing that you just love doing with all of your passion. And they talk about, oh, the creators and how passionate they are, while at the same time doing everything in their might to crush the passion that those creators have for what they do. It's a sad state of affairs, really. That's all I'm saying. And this is also just still to continue on rambling so we can fill airtime. What is this? Some kind of ironic parody of an actual election coverage of a YouTube video? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a post-ironic parody where I'm saying things but I'm not really saying things. Who knows? Who cares? Because it's difficult to care sometimes, right? Not because you don't care about the thing that you do, but because caring about it is in this fucking ecosystem that just does everything to destroy you all of the time. It's emotionally difficult to care about what you do because everything that goes wrong, and shit will go wrong a lot more often than it goes right, will hurt you. And so I can see how it's easier for some people to just stop caring about the things that they care about because those things have become engulfed in a vortex of chaos. Haha, the funny ramble burger. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the last thing that I will give you. Because if you've stuck around this pointless video until the end, you deserve something special. And you deserve for me to reveal a piece of information that I have not revealed before. You ready for this? Right? You ready? This is a big deal. It's my birthday this weekend. Yes, for years people have been trying to find that out. It's the 2nd of February. So yeah, basically, thank you very much for watching. Don't like, don't comment, don't subscribe. This is not a video. This is just me making a simple statement and just rambling on for 10 minutes. If you drew any level of enjoyment out of it, I'm glad you did. I don't know how you did, but I am glad that you did. So in that spirit, follow your passions, I guess. And see you around, cunts.